But I had to work on grades, and that's what I did. And if I'm not answering any of your questions that you have in your head, please raise your hand and ask me. I'll be happy to help. Yeah. Ready? All right, we're gonna have another little bit of technical difficulty. We're gonna get the TVs back on. And
guys?
Barely. We're working on it.
Okay. What?
Oh, we're waiting for the TVs to. Wait,
Okay.
there it is. We got one. So while we're waiting for the technical difficulty, we're taking you away.
No. This was pinned on one page and you wanted to go to TV.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move Nancy. Nancy's gonna have to come right over here. No, stay right there. Because we're gonna move this so Monica sees there's people here.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, wait, she's not standing there in her own. Say hi, Monica.
Hey, guys.
Hey. So, this is Monica. She's from California, but we'll let her tell her story. She's one of my favorites. I idolized her the first time I met her. She's the queen of Air BnB. So go ahead, Monica. Can you hear us?
When you talk really loud, can you guys hear me okay?
Kind of hearing you.
We can hear you fine.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it sounds like we have a little. It sounds like we have an echo.
A little warbling going on.
Yeah, the microphone on that
Yeah,
might not be good enough.
I have to get a better mic. It's coming off my laptop, so it's a little horrible. We have you on speakers here, and on the screen so everybody can see you.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Monica.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Can you tell us a
Sure.
little bit about yourself?
Yes. I've been a flight attendant for about 7 years, and from that experience, I've developed something called the Hive concept, which is similar. Have you guys heard of what a crash pad is? Anybody?
Anybody know Crown?
Do you know what a crash pad is?
Okay.
He knows. One person.
One person.
And a couple others up on the panel.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like what the name sounds like. It's where flight attendants, they have to start and end their trip in a city that they're hired at. So they have to crash somewhere the night before. So the concept started for me about 5 years ago, and I had my first co-living Hive concept place in Denver, Colorado, about 10 miles from the airport. So we had 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and I think 20 beds that we rented out. It was quite the deal. So with that one, we ended up turning it into co-living for women on one floor, co-living for men on another floor, and then co-ed on another floor. So yeah, so I've been doing the Hive concept for the last 5 years. And I have a place out here in LA. We just opened up a luxury property in Scottsdale, Arizona. And of course, we'll be working with Tabitha and Scott coming up in Newark. So,
First one's actually Elizabeth. Our first one's going to be in Elizabeth. We're actually starting the 15th. We'll be taking over property.
yeah, we've been working on that for a little while. It takes a lot of time to find the right place at the right location. It's a blend. A Hive is a blend between an Airbnb, a home, and a crash pad. So it has multiple streams of income in case one of them dries up, which happened to me in LA. I wasn't able to do Airbnb in the building any longer. So I was able to rely on what we call permanents and flight attendants. So between the balance, I had 7 permanents living there and 7 fly girls living there. So it's a nice balance. So each property kind of shakes out a little bit different, depends on the area, if you're by a tourist attraction, but it's basically rented out by the bed instead of the whole house.
Cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
You get to like hang out with a whole bunch of other people that are doing the same thing with mindset, you know, right?
Say one more time, Tabitha.
You get to hang out with people that are in the same mindsets.
Yes. Yeah, it's a mindset of a freedom lifestyle. So it makes it where instead of having to, especially like the new millennials, they don't want to necessarily buy. It's in the shared economy world. They don't want to buy a house. They don't want to buy a car. They just want to use it. So it really lowers the living expense. If you were to come out to LA and get an apartment by yourself, even for a 1-bedroom, you'd be lucky to find anything under $3,000 for a 1-bedroom. So by the time you pay first month's rent, deposit, sometimes they're wanting double the deposit depending on their credit score and whatnot. So it's very appealing to be able to stay, especially for a woman, to be able to stay in a living arrangement like this. So the beds in my location when I was doing Airbnb were around $850 to $1,000 a month. And now with long-term people, closer to $700 a month. And I have 12 beds.
And how many kitchens?
1 kitchen, 2 bathrooms.
And how does that schedule get worked out, though?
Well, we have a shower schedule. That seems to be, once we did sign up for showers, it just seemed to all work out. And the kitchen never seems to be an issue. I realize that the flight attendants are coming and going day and night, all different hours. We don't have set schedule. Not everybody's at Monday through Friday, weekends off. So, for example, today there were only 3 people home. So it's really crazy that many of us can live there and only 3 be home.
So how do you attract crash pad people? You know, is it? Yeah, I'm assuming it's something different than just Airbnb.
You have to. I think I heard you where your question was, how do you attract the flight attendants? Is that what you said?
Yes, more or less.
Okay. Yeah, you really need someone like me, someone that's in the industry, because we have what's called bases, and they're always changing. Like with my company, the LAX base may be closing down really soon, so it's always changing and moving. So you need like an insider on your team to help you to navigate where the base is at, because we all have like these secret groups that we belong to that we all help each other out as flight attendants.
Got it.
It's a very specific niche industry. It's not for everyone. It's not for the faint of heart either, because it's a lot of setup, and it's a lot of, we have to find someone to run it that's kind of like Mrs. Doubtfire, that's easygoing, that wants to take care of the girl. So because when you have that many people living together, there's rules that have to be kept in place and dynamics. So it does generally make 3 times the rent roll if you did just like a normal rent, but you do have 3 times the work. You do have a lot more work. But if you get a good person in place, you get a good person to help you like me, then things run smoothly. If you don't get a good the host is the key. If you get a bad host in there, it will be a struggle. So you have to have someone living on site.
So there's no platform for just crash pads. There's Airbnb for short term.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that exists that's specifically for crash pads. Correct?
Yeah, there is something called CrashPad 411, but we don't really use it. It's in our industry. Realize that like when we are training together, we're together. We get really tight. About 30 of us live together for 4 to 6 weeks, going through a really strenuous training. So we get really tight. So it becomes a matter of word of mouth. And once you get in good with an airline or someone in the industry that trusts you, they're not even gonna look on the website for a crash pad. They're gonna ask their girlfriend or guy friend, hey, where are you staying? Where's it at? And in the crew room, we have communication within the crew room, so you have to have someone that can be in the crew room with an airline badge.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, the host was on site or really close to to the site, right?
Yeah, you need to, flight attendants don't make a lot of money, so you need to be either close to a transportation of some sort or under $12 Uber ride. I mean, even at $12, the girls complain. And my hive is right behind Hertz rental cars, so the girls can hop on Hertz and then they can walk the last half mile, or they can take Uber, which is like $10. So I'm right on the line of, and sometimes they'll complain if they have to do more than 10. So it's a tricky, and that's why there's a balance, because the flight attendants, they don't have a lot of money, so the blend of the two works out really well with each other. The permanents that are there every day, and then the flight attendants that are there coming and going.
But the hostess lives on site or close to?
Yes. She lives on site, and she needs to have her own space, which is really the issue that I'm having in LA, because I don't have a space for her to live separately, but I've made it work for the last 2 years. So they just, will have the bunk bed.
Yeah, what's the nearest airport to you guys? Do you think this concept would work in Newark?
I'm doing Elizabeth, the 15th, you can't have that area, it's mine. The second one is the house with her in Newark, it's ours.
I'm looking for, there's a really big need in, I'm looking for investors for Seattle and Oakland. Those are two hot spots right now, especially Oakland. They're in Boston. They are like, the girls, because I've become known, like when I get on the plane, they'll be like, hey, you're the crash pad girl. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the crash pad girl. And so they'll be like, they'll message me and they'll say, do you have a place here? Do you have a place there? So I've been getting a lot for Boston, Seattle, and Oakland.
Who wants to travel?
Yeah.
International, I believe, Monica, have you started the international crash pads yet?
Well, I tell you, that is on the list. I've had, I was going to go with Morocco, which would not really be a true hive because it would be away from the airport. I found a villa like right on the water for like $2,500 a month. That was huge. But safety is everything, and when I was there, I just did not feel safe, especially for women. So I'm not going to go there now. So there's a lot of different things to check into when you're opening up a space. The safety's got to be number one. If the girls are coming home at like 1 in the morning and they feel, any type of way about the neighborhood, that's just not good. And I did not feel good with it, so we did not move forward on it.
So would there be any other areas that you may be interested internationally to open?
Well, I'm looking. My personal favorite is Bali. So girls, because that would be an incredible Airbnb. The massages are $14 an hour because we get, the flight girls and guys get free flights. So for us to be able to go somewhere like that and have like inexpensive food and inexpensive lodging, and if we found a really cool place, we could have like a palace there, like have our own pool, and I'd be able to drive traffic like no tomorrow with something like that. I've not been to Thailand, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a two-part question. The first is there any way that you measure what areas should be next on your list, or is it just word of mouth? And then the second question is it really just for people in the airline industry, or are there, athletes who travel, or I don't know, bloggers, or some other group that travel a lot that could benefit, that have benefited from this? So how do you determine what place is next? And who else is this for other than airline industry individuals?
Yeah. Well, great questions. it will certainly work for many different industries, and I've had people approach me for different ones. So, I mean, there's all kinds of, there's all the different sports, there's volleyball, and you know, they say find your niche and you'll get rich. If you set up the house for what their needs are, and you know the industry and you know what their needs are, you know where they go, and then you get in with them to find out what's the popular area, what do you guys need. So it's interesting because I've never even done a website or set up, or I did like a temporary website, but I've never actively promoted for the business. It keeps coming at me faster than I can even take care of because the need is so strong. And so to answer your question, there are tools. There's something called Air BnB where you can do research and find out where hot spots are. You can pay for the service to see, you know, who's the most popular in the area. But something that I do is I follow the lead of my peers. So my peers are saying, Monica, we need somewhere. Are you going to open up in Oakland? Then I'm going to start researching that area. I'm going to see what the zoning is. I'm going to see what's out there, what's available, what's the real estate like. So just because there's a need there doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great property. You have to check out a lot of different things. And it's important to work with someone that has done it before, because you don't want to get into a house, get everything all set up, and then find out, oh, I can't do Airbnb here now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a niche that will work for, I mean, there's, I ran into one of the hotels, traveling, what do you call that? You know, where they're doing the synchronized swimming, and they have a whole little tribe. You know, find your tribe, and they need housing.
Awesome.
And affordable housing, and they need. The girls love being together. They love talking about. You know, we'll sit around and drink some wine and talk. You know, bitch about whatever. You know, and this passenger did, or what this happened, or you know what, this funny story here. But we have a common denominator, and it works better in a home when you do have that common denominator. So if you can find something like that, that's great.
Monica, do you buy these properties or you rent and sublet?
I do not. I do not buy the properties. I control the property. So I have various different ways that I do that. Sometimes I do deals with the owners. Sometimes I just do a simple lease. Sometimes I agree to pay a little bit more for the property. It's just all different. But I don't want to lock myself into a property where I purchase it and then all of a sudden like it gets rezoned, because people are stopping and blocking short-term rentals like crazy. With the new zoning laws are changing so fast we can hardly keep up with them. So I don't want to have a property that's only generating a couple $100 a month when I can generate $2,000 to $4,000 a month.
But what, do you ever come up against a landlord, let's say, that doesn't want to sublet and not knowing you might have 20 people in one house sharing a kitchen and bathrooms? It's more wear and tear on their property.
Yeah, you have to be always on the up and up, and that is half of the battle. You have to tell the owner or tell the manager and be straight up with what you're doing, because how in the world could I ever hide 12 women coming and going? So I had to make an arrangement with the manager to do what I'm doing, which he had to make an arrangement with the owner of the building. So I can have as many, because the flight attendants are permanent residents, and that's the other thing too, that it helps with the occupancy laws where you can kind of get around having more people because they're just guests. They're not there all the time.
Don't you find different landlord-tenant rights in different states, and you know where it benefits the landlord or benefits the tenant more than? You ever get a,
I'm sorry. What did you say? Did you say is it easier in certain states? Is that what you said?
Don't turn on your laptop.
Oh, okay.
Speak into the microphone.
Oh, okay. So there's like, for instance, New Jersey has the worst landlord-tenant laws. It favors the tenant. So, and I know in many different states like Arizona, it's for the landlord. So what are you noticing more besides in New Jersey, Like in California, who does it benefit?
Yeah.
Where does
I always go with least path of resistance. So I find out where, you know, where the need is. And then let's say there's 3 cities available that I know there's a need. I will go the least path of resistance to do the research of the Airbnb laws, all of the different rental laws, and then actually dive into the city and find out some owners are absolutely, we have one of our girls that's in the group and she's in Virginia. Her name's Leslie, and she is a landlord that wants to build places for her to do it. So she has an amazing landlord, and those are the type of connections that you want and you look for and you get with someone, a builder, designer, someone that is really open to the concept and on your side. That's beautiful. That is so nice because you can just keep on building more in the area. It's nice to have about 3 in the area because then they'll support each other, and then one host can kind of help the 3 properties.
I just want to, maybe you asked her, is there people that travel? She mentioned Leslie. Leslie's, one of her, ones that came in and rented her Airbnb was the NASCAR drivers. Oh, they travel. Yeah. I would have hosted that one.
Yeah, the bigger picture here is creating the freedom lifestyle. So you're filling the niche where it doesn't cost them as much to live and they're free to travel. So my bigger picture is to travel with them, and that brings in my multiple stream of income with a company I work with called iBoomerang, and that's where we give free travel or a free travel discount code. And so my idea is that we travel amongst the different hives. Like we can have some sort of training or some sort of fun thing going on in the luxury hive. We could do, just the other day at the LAX hive, I had a big barbecue, had all the single travelers. I did a meetup group, had single travelers come. We had 20 people come out to the property. And so the idea is then I can promote my other properties and say, hey, yeah, you could go to Arizona and stay in this luxury hive for $70 a night. It has its private pool. It's like being a resort. Or you can have your own resort there, so that we link the properties together. And then one of the girls is actually going to stay like 2 weeks in LA and then 2 weeks in Phoenix. So once we get Newark up and going, she's like, yeah, I want to be there like a week. So that they would pay like a flat rate amongst the properties and then just travel between them. And we would just have a schedule. So that's kind of the bigger picture, is because it's a freedom lifestyle. It's like you can, it's like a membership. So you can stay amongst the houses.
But the thing that I don't understand is that I've only done a little bit of traveling, but hostels do that.
Yeah.
So I was in Cartagena in Colombia, and I traveled to El Viajero in Colombia, in Cartagena, and then in San Andreas, which is the island off the coast. They have the same thing. They have a hostel there, El Viajero. So my only confusion is, because this sounds really incredible, but my only confusion is, how is this different from a hostel? Is it maybe more higher end, or is it maybe
Yeah.
you know?
It's different. It's different because it's not like I've stayed at several hostels and it's more of a budget. This is more of luxury. It's more of, you're catered to by a house mom. You have beautiful blankets, the memory foam mattresses, monogrammed blankets. It's a blend between, it's not the low end. It's like nobody is servicing this. They're servicing here and they're servicing here, but they're forgetting all about here. So they're servicing the middle. If somebody doesn't want to pay $10 a night to stay on a mattress that's this thin, but they would pay $40 a night to stay a little bit nicer.
They are that thin too, by the way.
I stayed at one in Jamaica, and it was pretty scary, let me tell you. I was like, oh dear God, am I gonna make it out?
So are you charging by the day, the week, or the month?
Yes, all the above. I would make money daily, monthly, yearly. and usually they try it because they're scared. They'll book like 3 days, and then they'll keep extending and extending and coming back, and they leave and they come back. Because I'm telling you, there is nothing like it in LA. Nothing. The hotels out here are all well over $100. They're all like 150, 130. You can't stay near the airport and have what I have. So I know I have a good thing.
So since you don't have a website, you have your contact information some other way, like there's some hub that they're going through, that just, they know you, or how are you creating that sense of how people are finding you? And you're not signing any contracts with them, it's all just, that connection.
I'm sorry, that sounded like all like Mickey Mouse. I didn't hear a word on that one.
Wanted to know,
How are you doing your marketing?
yeah, how are you marketing these besides like the word of mouth? If you don't have a website for people to look at, so.
Right. There's different channels. There's a whole bunch of resources through Facebook that you can find. When you find your group niche, you'll find all the secret groups, and you have to become members of all the secret groups for your niche. And then you promote within the secret groups. So it depends on the area. It depends on the theme of the people that you want to. They say build it and they will come, and that's so true. Like if you want women, then you're gonna find women. If you want men, you're gonna find the men. So it's just a matter of having it, just building it, I guess, reverse. Where do the people want to be? What do they like? What are they looking for? Where do they hang out? What websites do they go to? And once you tap, it takes a little bit of research to do that. But once you find it, then you're in.
Monica, one more question. Once you find a property, is it your cost to put the beds in, the furniture, everything?
Yes. Yeah, it's the investors' cost. You could do it several different ways, but typically I work with investors, so they're going to pay me for my services to help them launch it. And then after that, if they want me to help them manage it, I'll manage it. Otherwise, I turn it back over to them and let them continue on. So it just kind of depends on what they need, what their needs are. Like, and for the property owner, what do they want? Do they want cash right away? Do they want someone to take good care of the property? It sure is nice to have someone. We had a good example with the luxury property in Phoenix. There was no one living there, and so the maid was taking advantage of the owners. The owners lived in California, and the maid was charging them to clean and was not cleaning. She would take the linens and just pile them up in the laundry room, and then like the pool guy came out, he left the pool on. Then we found out that the maid's family and friends were coming over and staying at the house, and the owners had no idea any of this was going on until we took over the property. And we came in and we were like, whoa. And so now with having a house mom on the property, that will never happen again. They'll never have a party. The house mom is there. Like, stuff like that won't happen. They're not going to charge them for something that they didn't do. And a lot of people, I hate to say, but they're going to take advantage because the property owner wasn't there. So, and they know that. So they don't do their job. Or they'll say they'll clean the pool, but they don't clean the pool.
So there's no house
So when
mom.
you have some kind of property, what's
that?
that?
You always have to have a house mom. Or county.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you don't even do it without having someone take care of the property because it's too many personalities in a house. You just, I've tried it before and I've learned my lesson before. You could possibly, and I've done this where I've had 2 properties close to each other and gotten away with it, but even then, it's just not good. You just need a monitor. You really do. What's that?
How much authority does a property mom have? Does she have the authority to kick people out and I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah. She, as soon as there's a problem, she'll alert the manager, and then the manager will assess the situation. We had a girl that was snoring, and another guest just took her toothpaste and hauled off and smacked her in the head. So, yeah, and it put like a gouge on the other girl's head, so they were gonna. It was bad. So that's why you need like house moms there to diffuse situations. So we had the girl that threw the toothpaste. She was actually an Airbnb guest, and we had to remove her from the property. But there has been weird cases, you guys, like just really strange stuff. We had a girl, especially in LA, because it's a big city, and maybe they're coming from a foreign country, and they're coming and they're like out in the city. They go out and they party. They don't know anybody. One girl got slipped a roofie, and by the time she got home, she was comatose. She barely had enough strength to like knock on the door of the host. And then she came out and she said, call 911. And within like less than 5 minutes, all she could do was blink her eyes. And we called the paramedics. So, it makes me feel good that I'm there for the girls, or that a host is there for the girls. And, you just never know. In whatever city or situation, we had a domestic violence situation that the girl had moved out with her boyfriend. And I told her, I said, let me know whenever you need to come back. So she ended up coming back. So there's all kinds of situations. Even when it was co-ed, you would have some situations. So a house mom is so important. House mom or dad, so important.
So you can be a dad and be a host.
Yeah, if you do co-living. But I can tell you, in the co-living house, they were having sex in the bunk room. So I won't do co-living anymore.
Well, okay.
You mentioned about making relationships with the airlines. How is that going, and where are you in the process with that?
Well, that's when you hire someone like me to help you. If you're wanting to get into working with the airlines, you've got to be with somebody that is on the know of how that works. Because even if they're a regular flight attendant, their skill set's not going to be there of how you partner the two together. But I'm not sure what to tell you on that. I can tell you that it's just like a secret world, and if you had someone that could get you in on the secret world, then you're blessed. It's kind of like the fireman world. Like, we all link arms, we do a lot of training together, and it's pretty intense, and we build deep friendships. So if you knew of someone in the airline industry, I guess you could ask them, partner with them, and ask them to help you. Hire them. They're broke. Most of them are broke. So offer to pay them. Hey, if you help me to get in here, I'll pay you XYZ, like $50 or $20 per person you bring to me. So you could do something like that.
Or you just won't mind.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be, I get so many people that are reaching out to me now, and I've decided, I used to only do everything myself and just set up the property and be really controlled, and there's so much demand for it that I am really considering doing like a training where it's like a 4-week training where I'll walk you through all the steps on Facebook Live. We'll have a secret group, and it will be about $3,000 for the 4 weeks, and we'll go through like all the A to Z's. You can ask me questions. I can tell you where the secret groups are and how to find them, where to set up your properties. And so I'm looking at doing something like that, as opposed to just a one-on-one, because if it's one-on-one, it's around $10,000 to $15,000 to set up a property.
Well, have you done anything around Airbnb or short-term rentals in the past?
There are so many strict laws in New Jersey for Airbnb, renting, code of ethics laws. It's crazy. So it's not worth it. It just wouldn't be worth it for us.
I mean, I see it listings all the time.
There's a lot
Down-
in New
down
Jersey,
shore,
Jersey City,
Yeah,
down shore.
yeah.
The guy in Jersey City, he's making $3,000
Yeah.
a week.
But that's I guess I shouldn't do that. That's illegal.
Well, it depends on the town. Some towns ban them.
But can they monitor?
No.
There's,
Well,
Asbury,
I guess that doesn't matter,
Something
but-
that isn't, because even if you really want to take a chance, because they have laws like for smoke detectors, and what if there's a fire, and then, if you have to get a CO to just move into a property. For every new tenant that moves into a property, you need a certificate of occupancy.
Depends on the towns, like she was
Right.
saying. Each
Depends on the
town's
town. The
different.
towns that I work with, they do.
Our town just eliminated that this year.
Where was that?
South River. We no longer have to get a
Where?
ticket to smoke
Where?
in South River.
Oh, I don't know. where that
So there's,
Jesus. I don't know what that is.
when we're talking about.
Yeah, it's down the street.
Oh,
Our
right.
neighborhood,
So does that mean Airbnb coming to South River?
You can do Airbnb in South River. We actually are 15 minutes from the train station, and literally in South River, the bus stop is right there. See the towers? That's the bus stop. So, but yeah, it's different for each one of the towns. In Asbury, you must live on the premises. So having the host mom on a present, on the present, place, you could probably do it with no problem, because there's a lot of them down the shores that are doing the Airbnbs. But as you were saying, it's different for each town, and that's what Monica says. She does the research, so.
But I will tell you, in all the towns in Bergen County, I work with so many, they require a CO.
That is wild.
Yeah, they want to come and make sure the smoke detectors work, carbon monoxide work. I mean, in some towns are so ridiculous. They go through an inspection that if you don't have a handrail for 3 or more steps, they fail you.
Yeah, that's the code, yeah. There's certain codes for certain things, so. Question?
Yeah, we, I don't invest in New Jersey because it's, for income producing properties because of the landlord tenant. Like for instance, in Arizona, right? If you don't weed your lawn, they can evict you.
Wait.
Yeah. So, but in Bergen County, and I know I had a client who literally went into foreclosure because his tenants weren't paying the rent. For 3 years, they could not get her out.
Oh my God.
So she had to pay it, and he lost the house because he couldn't pay the mortgage. Right. Yeah.
Now, Nancy, you invest here in New Jersey. I'm here. About how many, my son and myself are self-managed, almost 30 doors. 30 doors.
How many buildings?
How many buildings is that?
See where they're located.
Doesn't work straight all the time.
I'm just so busy in real estate that I haven't really, I guess maybe that's down the road if I want to do that, but I think it was easier years ago to get properties like that, and depends on where, but the money has to work, and the time and all of that it takes, and I don't want to be a property manager, so.
Is it safe to say that there's a difference with landlord and tenant laws based on northern states and southern states?
And there's us in the middle.
Like, yeah, like Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, as far as you know, are a lot of those states.
I just.
Do we lose Monica?
Just Google that.
Yeah.
Probably figure it out.
Yeah.
I believe, wait, I find her, because she
Is
actually.
that her? That's her, right?
Yeah, but she has, like, she has, Leslie is in Virginia. I believe,
There she is.
how many, you, opened up, Airbnbs in how many different states so far?
Let's see, I opened up in Houston, Virginia, Scottsdale, Tempe, and Los Angeles.
So you're not in
And
North.
Georgia?
I guess you'll be in the Northeast soon. But
What happened in Georgia?
Oh yeah, George, I forgot about that one.
So now we're getting where you have all your houses. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So southern states.
I lose track because I don't manage all of them. Sometimes people want to take over the management and they're like a little birdie, they're on their way. So then I'm already on the next project.
Right. Who agrees, doesn't want to manage their projects?
I don't know yet.
Should be raising your.
I don't know yet. Exactly.
So eventually you want to get out of
Oh,
but you don't want to manage.
So
You
that's
want
what,
to manage.
should be your target. With learn the ropes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so she kind of answered one of the questions, like, do you have a team? Who here has a team in place to do the projects?
Yeah, I have, I am on my team, all I do is list houses. I have 2 people that show houses and buyer's agents. I have an admin, who does all of the transaction work, and a marketing person that just does marketing. All I do is go on appointments all day, negotiate, talk to people, be in front of people, and everything else is delegated.
You have a team? I have, me, myself, and
That's a team of 3.
And now Robert. I have, Monica, you have a team in place?
Yes, I do. I have my manager and partner. Her name is Kitty, and she does a lot of the boots on the ground work for us. And we usually hire or have someone on site with the property that is either involved with the investor or someone that's local, or we just hire local people to help us move furniture and whatnot.
And like Paula had mentioned before you were here, you have a coach, right?
Yes, Coach Paul Fink.
That's this weekend.
Paul Fink.
And it's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, round tables right now. but
Yes.
Friday,
Yes.
Saturday.
So I have Paul Fink and Keith and a whole team of people to help me out. You can't do it alone. It's too hard to do it alone. You need help.
How many coaches are these? Are these mental, emotional?
You can get either
He's all. That was really great, because Scott and I looked for a coach, because when we first started getting doing it, we thought coaches were, they were so full, and we're like, what kind of scam is this? Because we didn't know. Until 5 years later, when we came back around, and we took the couple that we met, Barbara and Ken, from $800,000 a year to $9.6 million in 5 years. That's where we were kicking ourselves, right? So when she mentioned a coach, we wish we had it back then. Since then, we're moving along.
With a coach, I literally, it happens sometimes things click. But, I just couldn't break 22 million in sales. Just couldn't do it. And then when I got a coach, I went from 22, 36, 48, 68.
Did your coach hold you accountable?
Oh, totally.
That's part of
I just want to reach
Having a
22 million. Who's with me there? 22 million, right?
What I was saying is that that's part of having a coach, somebody that holds you accountable, that basically kicks you and tells you what you need, not what you want.
And working smart. I mean, I just got back from Greece and I was there for close to 3 weeks. And I came back and, I just forwarded my phone to my assistant and things were closing and things were moving and I came back in 3 minutes. That's how you want to set it up because otherwise it's not sustainable. And how hard can you work? You want to I'll never retire, but I'll delegate and I'll still be the face. But I think that's the smartest way to do it.
No, I have a question about that. This isn't any kind of position that I'm in yet, but I've seen people kind of act in this fashion, so I'm just curious. Are you not concerned that your team will say, we can do this without her? We'll
No,
just,
because,
do our own.
no, I really don't worry about that because first of all, we talked about branding. I'm branded.
Yeah.
They know Paula Clark.
Yeah.
And so even when they get a call, they'll say, are you Paula? So, and they don't, and everybody on my team, don't forget, they have no overhead. They come in, they make the money, and they make 6 figures, the buyer statements. And they don't want the bills, they see how much I pay for things, and where and all of my responsibilities, they don't want it. But again, there's a personality test that anybody on your team should take. I don't know how many of you heard of that, Tony Robbins has one, the DISC.
This test, I'm the high I, take it down.
Yeah, I took that.
So Monica,
I could be I too.
Monica's another high
Yeah.
I.
But then a leader, somebody that runs and delegates the team. So you're a DI, sometimes you put your I in front anyway. Anybody wants to look that up and you'll see what you are. But everybody on the team, like the best buyer's agent, let's say, is an S, which is loves talking to people, loves hearing their stories and looking at houses. Me, if you explain something to me, you have to do bullet points because you lost me. I need you to just cut it short. You know, just too much talking. I just can't take it.
Yeah.
You know, but
I'm right there.
right, I just like get to the point because I have no time. You know, that's just with my grandchildren. I don't know.
What letter is that?
That D.
Yeah.
D-I-S-C. So the D is the dominant one.
Business, oh.
Yeah. The I, anybody you see wearing purple and flashy and sparkles is definitely an I. It wants to be the center of attention. The S is someone who, when you talk to them, they tell you their whole life story, and then some. And then the C is your engineer, your accountant, your CPA. They only care about numbers and spreadsheets. So when you're talking to a person, you want to talk to them according to what their personality is. If I'm with a C, he doesn't care that I tell him how beautiful his house is. How much is my house worth? Just makes a point.
There's, when she's saying that, my daughter left, so I can talk about her. Straight up, be honest, we had no idea of why we didn't get along. None at all. She's a high C. I'm a high I. We
She's
talked.
got no time for you.
Okay. We literally.
Enjoy her.
Across.
oh, yes.
But she pissed me off too. We talked through a notebook for a year. If it wasn't for Paul and learning the disc, our family would not be where it is today. Her and her brother now own a business. She comes, we go out together. She actually needs a hug now. Not the biggest, greatest like an eye, but she needs a hug now.
But what's
So, so learn this and learn personalities. He's a high D, I'm a high I, she's a high C, my son's a high I.
If anybody actually wants this assessment, I've done it for years, like I do that with, I do all the assessments in a P grade, so I can give you like really cheap grade. And the easiest way to remember it, D, dominant people. I, inspirational people. S, the steady people. C, the compliance.
You can Google it to give you the whole map of the whole.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, I think we can get them for like $69.
They do it for half less cheap.
Well, when she do that, when Paul's, he actually teaches you how to deal with the people. Like I said, we would not, I tried in his thing, like you do at Tony Robbins events. He's a life business coach. Because if life's not right, business is not right, right? You learn at that. I'll take another test, but I know I'm a high I. Actually, in all our whole family, it's high.
Well, I think, you know, one dominates the other, depending on the situation. Like in business, I'm a real DI, but in social gatherings, I'm an ID. So I try to, and then when I talk to certain people, I have to lower my D a little bit and lower my I. Otherwise, I will, we just won't be good. They won't.
So we ended up on the disc, my high I friends. Right, Monica?
That's right. The high eye. See the bling.
There you go.
Well, hey, you guys, are there any more questions for me?
Anybody else got questions?
No, I think we're all good, Monica. Thanks for coming on
Thank you.
and joining us.
All right, let me know how I can help, and you can get my contact information. Probably the best way is through the Facebook Messenger, you guys. And love you all. Heartbeat from California, and find those properties. I am looking for investors to work with, so please reach out to me and get my contact information. And you guys have a great night. You have a great group, and thanks for letting me share the time with you tonight.
Thank you, Monica. Thanks for coming.